Hey everybody, today I want to talk about the subject of gossip and how gossiping could be a sign of narcissism. So, if you've ever known a person who just thrives on gossip, maybe they otherwise don't have a lot of passions and things that they get really excited about, but when it comes to talking about other people's lives, it's like they come totally alive. Like their whole face is animated, their body language is animated, their energy is animated. Like you can tell they're just like really, really, really into that, and that can come in a couple different forms. So the first form it comes in is positive talking, where they're idealizing someone or something. So and so is so amazing, they do this so amazing, they have this great talent, and this and that and the other. And you're thinking, this person just admires someone and they're talking positively about someone, but they're going on and on and on. And what's happening often is that they're using this as a form of triangulation. They're trying to manufacture jealousy. So what'll often happen is, so say you have something in common with that person, some talent in common, some interest in common, some hobby in common, and the narcissist is going on and on about how amazing that person is at this or that, and they're just so incredible, and there's like no mention of you, or maybe there's even like underhanded digs, at you. So it seems like it's so positive, and it's really hard to argue rationally with that, because they're concealing their entire intentions. They're using that form of gossip as a way to manufacture jealousy in someone else. It's a way to triangulate that relationship, make you feel uncomfortable, feel self-conscious about something, like you're not good enough, because they're implying that you're not good enough, or you're not nearly as good or nearly as valuable or whatever. Like maybe like you even have been telling them something for like months or years, right? And then they just don't pay any attention to you, and then someone else tells them that same thing, and now they believe it. And then they're just going on and on and on about how that person told them, blah blah blah, and you're like, I told you that like a long time ago. But there's no credit thrown your way. There's like no acknowledgement of your part in that. So that's one where it seems like positive, but it's actually destructive, and it's actually a very covert way to manufacture jealousy. Another way that narcissists love to use gossip is the feigning of concern and care. They're on the phone or they're in person, they're just going on and on and on about how worried they are about so-and-so, and it's so hard for so-and-so, and poor so-and-so, and just on and on and on, and maybe they come to you and they're like, oh, did you, such and such happened to this person, and it's just so terrible, I just wish I could help them, and isn't it awful, and blah blah blah, and they act like they're really concerned, but actually you can see that like they're really getting off on it, and so what they do too is they bait you. Like if you know that other person, they will bait you to give them information, and if you give information thinking that that person is just concerned and genuinely concerned, and you feel like sharing that information might help, because then maybe they'll have more information, they could offer more support to that person. Be very, very cautious. Be very cautious there, because any information that you share could end up getting used against you or that person. It's like, so have you talked to so-and-so lately? And if you're just like, we're just like, yeah, not so much, both been really busy, versus like, yeah, and he or she said this was happening and that was happening, and then the narcissist is like, and they're just like, it's almost like they're having an orgasm, like hearing that information. They're just, and I call it like jizzing all over it, because they're just like, oh, it's so good, oh, bring it more, and they just want more and more gossip, because they love it. They love feigning concern about it, and and then feeding off of, somebody else's suffering or something difficult going on in their life, or just the fact that like maybe they've been successful in something, or whatever they're judging, maybe they got plastic surgery, whatever. There's some sort of like feigning of concern and care. Be very cautious in giving them information. And another form of gossip that is more overtly noticeable as toxic is the negative talk. It's talking bad about someone. It's when the person loves to find out all the dirt on everyone. Someone hurt someone, or someone did something, or someone had a lot of negativity or some issues in their life and some big struggle, and they love to talk about the negative aspect of it. And like when that's their favorite flavor of gossip too, ooh, look out for those people. Stay away from them. Stay away from all of these types, by the way, because that's just dangerous. Don't share any information with these people, because they're using that gossip very toxically. And if they're all like, they don't even get excited about anything. They don't really have anything like positive to share. They just like, when they hear anything negative about someone, they're like, oh yeah, and they want to know, so I heard something about so and so, and they want you to give them information, or they want you to like sympathize with that and be like, oh yeah, what an awful person, I can't believe they would do that. Be really careful, because that person is either feeding off of someone else's pain and suffering, or that person who is being gossiped about could be the target of a smear campaign of another narcissist, or that very same narcissist. So be very cautious when you see people thriving on gossip, when you see people doing this, because if this person is talking like that about other people now, they're talking to me. What happens when I walk away? And I used to be so naive, thinking, oh, she's not talking about me. She's just talking about everybody else like that. She wouldn't do that to me. Oh, yes, they would. You can bet it that you are then going to be the subject of gossip when they turn around and go talk to someone else. They're on the phone talking about you, and and they're sending all that toxic energy your way, because if you are the recipient of that gossip, you're receiving that toxic energy. Like, even though you don't want to, and even though it's like an unconscious thing, like that energy is coming at you, and that's very unfortunate aspect of this. And let's just make it really clear too, the distinction between gossip and sharing your truth, right? One thing, gossip, the whole point of gossip, you imagine like the high school cliques, right? And there's like maybe a narcissist in the center, and he or she has got her or his entourage, right? And the entourage could be other narcissists who gain status and position, in the society of that school by hanging out with the narcissist. They gain, popularity and fame and that sort of thing. Or they could be, like one of their victims, like one of their targets, and they're pretending to be their friend, but they're actually, abusing them very covertly, or they're using them as a scapegoat or something like that. But you imagine like this group of like high school clique, and they're just gossiping, that sort of thing. That the gossip is one thing that is used negatively, that is used as a form of manipulation, that is used as a form of spreading rumors, as a form of smear campaign. And that's very different than a person standing up and speaking their truth and saying something like, I was abused by so-and-so. I was abused by a person I was abused by a person in our family. I was abused by your such and such. This kind of thing is not gossip. This is a person speaking their truth, and a person has every right to speak their truth and to talk about someone who has been abusing them, to talk about, this is what happened. This was the dynamic of what happened. This, I need some help. I need some perspective. Somebody show me something. What do I do, right? Or I just need to like vent this and get this off my chest, right? Like talk to somebody because I feel so alone. That's a very different circumstance than the person who's actually spreading gossip through smear campaigns, or just because they're just getting off on the gossip. So I'm going to make another video very soon about those smear campaigns, about the flying monkeys. I've been getting quite a few messages about this lately. People are asking me to put up one of those videos. So I'm going to do that soon. This is kind of like a lead into that, the gossip. Be very, very cautious of gossipers. Don't hang out with them. Don't give them any information. These people might be lurking at work. They might be, you know, like hiding in the shadows and coming around trying to get gossip about you or trying to get gossip about other people through you. Don't give them anything. Just pretend like you're not even interested or you don't know anything, or just outright lie to them. Be like, no, I didn't talk to so-and-so. No, just been really busy. Not so much, you know. And lying, it's not really a good thing to do, you know, but in this scenario, this is actually like a counter manipulation strategy to deal with the narcissist, because if you give that narcissist any information, they're going to use it against you, and they're going to use it against the person, you know, who is the subject of that gossip. So don't be an enabler. Don't encourage that behavior. Don't show interest in that behavior. You know, just shut it down. Just immediately shut it down. And what a narcissist will do is they'll poke at this one, and if you don't give them anything there, then they'll try to find another topic of another person. So how about so-and-so? What do you know about so-and-so? When have you talked to so-and-so? You know, and they'll keep going down the line trying to hook you until eventually, like, they'll just get the point that, like, you're not giving them any energy, you're not giving them any information, you're just not interested in that. And then they'll have to go to someone else to get that kind of narcissistic supply in the form of gossip. So watch out for toxic people, take care of yourself, protect yourself from that. Don't share information, because anything you say can and will be used against you. Beware of this in your social situations, you know, when you're at work, when you're at parties, when you're just meeting new people. You know, really notice the gossiping as a big, big, big red flag of a toxic person. Might be a narcissist, might not be, but that person is definitely toxic. If that's one of their favorite activities and that's what they engage in quite often, stay away from those people. Sending you all a big hug. See you soon.